Hi, I am Marius Zwijnenburg. I live in Golden Bay, New Zealand. What would you choose if you received a cancer diagnosis? Would you choose for chemotherapy or the natural cure? This is my story. It is about a year ago now, I think, that I had a massage from a massage therapist, and she discovered that there was a lump in my belly. And she mentioned that, and I thought, well, it is not painful. I did not make a lot of it. But at the same time, I had an appointment with an acupuncturist, and I mentioned it. And he was a bit worried. He said, well, what about if you give you a referral for a blood test? Because I don't trust it. And well, I went to the blood test center, and next week when I came back, he said, it does not look very good because I see you have chronic lymphocytic leukemia. In normal language, it is a form of blood cancer. He showed me the white blood cells count was 233, and the normal range is 4 to 11, and the lymphocytes are 226, and the normal range is 1 to 4. So that was not in the range, it was a little bit worrying. And he mentioned the lump we talked about, that is an enlarged spleen. And on the bottom of the report, the hematologist had written, I give you chemo and then you can live for another 10 years. Well, I thought that does not look good. I decide to not take chemo, and then I can live for another 30 years. Because I think it is not good for your healing when you put poison in your body. That is not what I want. Next day, or maybe 2 days later, the doctor gave me a telephone call and he said, oh, I made an appointment for you and I expect you, well, I think it was a week later or something. And I cancelled that because I am not in for chemo. But what do we now? I'm a health practitioner. I work with energies, and my approach is on everything that it is holistic. So physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, that is very close related. And if one is ill, the other one is also ill. Only the symptoms are in your body. And cancer is, according to my theory, is a symptom. So I have to work on all the levels. And then I noticed that the universe provides. Because when I was on the massage table, I heard a program on the radio, and on the program was someone who talked about health, and probably a doctor, and he said, you can have an enlarged lump, and that is caused by stress, especially emotional stress, and it can be 20 to 30 years ago. And well, that triggered something in me because 20 to 30 years ago, in my first marriage, there was a lot of stress. But okay, Jeltje, who is a naturopath, and I made a plan what to do now. We had to work on all levels. So the first physical level we started to work on was a ketogenic diet. What is a ketogenic diet? That is very, very little protein, a limited amount of carbohydrates, and no sugar at all. Because especially sugar, that is fuel for cancer. And the ketones you make, cancer cannot live on that. The second thing was whole food. We went for whole food, plant-based diet with healthy fats. The healthy fats are, for instance, coconut oil, avocado, and olive oil. Intermittent fasting was the next one. Intermittent fasting, we did it for 14 to 16 hours, no food. The last meal I had that day on the day was about 7 o'clock, and the next meal was about lunchtime the following day. And that is also for starving the cancer cells. We added also herbs and spices. And they were cancer-fighting herbs and spices, and the most important were turmeric in combination with black pepper and ginger and garlic, and there is more, but those are the most important ones. Supplements. I took also supplements. Vitamin C. Lots and lots of vitamin C. Normally my doses is 1 to 2 grams a day, and that is for daily maintenance, but now I increased it to 18 grams daily. And that is a lot, so, but your body tells you how much you can take. If your bowels start to get loose, then you have a little bit too much, and then you reduce it a little bit with maybe 1 pill, and that is exactly what you need. The other thing was vitamin D. Taking in as much sunshine as you can on your skin, and that helps your body to make vitamin D. We worked also on the mental and spiritual level. I started to do meditations. There is a meditation by Dr. Joe Dispenza. I did that daily, and that is designed for reprogramming the subconscious. I pictured myself as a healthy, happy person. And also, I had a picture in my mind of the blood values, and they were exactly in the limits, in the middle, in the end. But if you have any doubt about it, what you picture, then you are doing self-sabotage and it does not work anymore. The emotional level. The root cause was, as I mentioned first, my first marriage. 15 years of emotional abuse and stress. And we had to work on that. How did I do that? I wrote lots of pages about what happened in those days. I wrote them all down. Emotions came up. Memories came up. And the memories caused emotions again. And in the end, I read it over and I worked on it and I chewed on it. And I thought, well, in my own practice, when I help a client, it is not completely finished for me when there is no forgiving in the end. So I worked on that. In the end, I could forgive myself for that I let it happen, that I allowed it happening. And I could also forgive my ex-wife. And even in the end, I could say thank you for learning a lesson. And after that, I felt energetically a lot lighter. Now I count on at least another 30 years of healing. But I also noticed that doctors are very reluctant to give permission for another blood test. I went to the doctor and I noticed they are not really keen. If you don't do chemo, they are not interested to give you a referral for a blood test. But at last I managed to get one 4 months later. And that was very promising because the white blood cell count was 74 and the lymphocytes were 68. So that was not bad at all. I was really happy with that. And again, 4 months later, another blood test. And that was exactly within the normal range. White blood cell counts was 8 and it should be 4 to 11. Lymphocytes was 3 and the normal range is 1 to 4. And it was exactly the figures I had in my mind with the meditation. And also the lump was gone. The spleen was back to the normal size. Why do I tell it? Why this video? It is to tell you that cancer diagnosis is not a death sentence. Do not get pushed by fear into chemotherapy. There is plenty of time to look at other options and make a choice. What are the options? You can go to the doctor and pretty sure they give you chemotherapy. Alternatives are lifestyle changes, and it can be diet, supplements, exercise for relaxing techniques, meditation, yoga, because stress is always the underlying cause. And again, cancer is not a death sentence. You can heal yourself, you just need to create the right circumstances. Okay, that was my story. If you want to know more about it, more details, you can go to our website. The website is soulharmonics.co.nz. We have written a blog on it, you can read it. You can also send us an email and we promise we will respond to every email we see. Okay, thank you for your attention and I hope you can work with my information. Thank you.